Stefanski is an outstanding coach, all right? But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting to see the Shedeur Sanders be the guy or Gabriel, whatever.
Everybody perspective. So, that's not nothing, in my place to answer. That's nothing I can't not answer. But I know for sure I'm not. I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that.
I don't care if you put in Milt Plum. I don't care. You've got Shedeur Sanders. Why is Shedeur not in there? Well, I don't know. Are you sitting in the back of the meeting rooms with scout team receivers?
After last night's Flacco's disaster class, Shedeur Sanders fans are running riot, calling out Coach Stefanski to put Shedeur Sanders to play. The narrative is quickly spiraling out of control. Initially, it seemed like Browns media was trying to cover up Flacco's performance by shifting the focus to the flaws in the defense. But fans aren't blind. They can see right through it. Now, even independent analysts are stepping in, calling for Coach Stefanski to give Shedeur Sanders a shot and see what he can bring to the table.
This guy can't play. He can't play anymore. He couldn't play 8 years ago. He's your starting quarterback. Give me an absolute break.
Fans are now demanding answers from Kevin Stefanski, questioning why he keeps starting Flacco despite his inability to perform at a high level. Analysts are echoing concerns, insisting that Flacco just can't keep up with the speed and intensity of today's game. Rex Ryan made it clear, stating that Flacco's time as a starting quarterback is over. He was never truly elite throughout his career, and now, at this stage, he simply can't keep up with the pace of the NFL. The growing frustration from fans and analysts alike is putting serious pressure on Stefanski to make a change. And fans have every right to be frustrated, as Flacco's performance was nothing short of a disaster. He began the game looking decent, but everything fell apart after a catastrophic throw. For a 17-year veteran, it was shocking to see him throw the ball directly into the hands of the Lions. That interception wasn't just a simple mistake. It gave Detroit the momentum and completely changed the flow of the game. What started as a solid performance quickly turned into a disaster, with Flacco unable to regain his composure. His inability to make crucial plays and the turnover made it clear. The Browns' quarterback situation isn't just a concern. It's a crisis, and a change is looming. Even Flacco himself acknowledged his inability to make plays, taking full responsibility for his poor performance, particularly the first-half pick-six to Lions safety Kirby Joseph. He made a point to clear up any confusion, noting that the interception wasn't wide receiver Jerry Jeudy's fault, even though Jeudy slipped on his route, saying, "That was on me, not him." However, despite his honesty, Flacco's overall stats, 16 completions on 34 attempts for 184 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a lost fumble, were far from impressive. Criticism came fast, but Flacco didn't offer much explanation for the fumble or the offense's struggles. One thing's clear, this is a game he'll be eager to move past.
Well, we made mistakes, the first pick was on me. Anytime you get, you give a chance to give this team a little bit of momentum and play from the lead, that makes them that much better. That's part of the reason why they're a good football team. So when you turn the ball over like that and you give them good position and you don't really allow our defense to pin their ears back and do their thing, then you're going to struggle as a whole.
Joe Flacco was right to take responsibility for his mistakes, but the reality is they weren't one-off errors. They were recurring issues. In another crucial moment, Flacco had a clear shot at throwing a touchdown pass, but instead he made another damaging decision, throwing an interception straight to the opposing defense. That turnover not only ended the drive, but also handed the Lions great field position. They took full advantage, easily advancing halfway down the field before eventually being pushed out of bounds. It was yet another stark reminder of how quickly things can go south. After such a disastrous performance, it's hard to imagine Joe Flacco getting another start this season. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, in his post-game remarks, made it clear that the team can't afford mistakes like this, especially on the road. He emphasized the need to correct those errors, which seemed like a subtle hint that Flacco's time with the Browns might be nearing its end. The fact that Stefanski gave rookie Dylan Gabriel some playing time only reinforced the idea that the quarterback position is moving toward younger, untested talent. It's becoming increasingly obvious that the future of the team is in the hands of the rookies.
Yeah, it's just it's frustrating, Mary Kay, because we know you can't do those things and expect to win on the road, and so I got to get it fixed.
But it's Coach Stefanski who continues to push Shedeur Sanders aside, and even Rex Ryan is growing frustrated with this decision. He publicly called out Stefanski, urging him to make the necessary changes and give Shedeur the opportunity to take control. Ryan emphasized that allowing Shedeur to play would give everyone a chance to see just how talented he truly is, suggesting that the Browns may be missing out on something special by sticking with Flacco. The pressure is mounting on Stefanski to make the right call and let Shedeur prove what he can do on the field.
Stefanski is one of an outstanding coach, all right? But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting to see the Shedeur Sanders be the guy or Gabriel, whatever.
And Rex Ryan is right to call out Stefanski, especially after Shedeur Sanders' recent statement, which was a revelation to his supporters. With unshakable confidence, Sanders boldly declared that he's better than several NFL quarterbacks, including Joe Flacco. After today's performance, it's hard to dismiss that claim. Sanders' confidence is undeniable, and if he can back it up on the field, he could be the spark the Browns desperately need to turn their season around. The question now is whether Stefanski will give him the chance to prove it.
Everybody perspective, so that's not nothing in my place to answer. That's nothing I can't not answer. But I know for sure I'm not. I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that.
Despite the growing frustration, Shedeur Sanders is doing his best to remain calm, reminding himself that everything happens for a reason and trusting that God has a plan for him. While he insists on being patient, it's clear that the challenges he's facing are starting to wear on him, and his frustration is completely understandable. He emphasized that he's not rushing things and continues to rely on God's timing, believing change will come when it's meant to. However, what's particularly troubling for him is that the whole situation is beginning to feel almost surreal. His frustration is genuine, but he's holding on to his faith, hoping for better days ahead. Despite Shedeur Sanders' best efforts to remain composed and trust in God's plan, fans are growing increasingly anxious, wondering when he will finally get his shot. The calls for change are becoming louder, and the mounting pressure on Coach Stefanski is undeniable. Fans, analysts, and even former players like Rex Ryan are all pushing for the same thing: Shedeur to take the reins and show what he can do. With Flacco's performance continuing to disappoint, Stefanski finds himself in a position where he can no longer ignore the obvious. Shedeur is the future, and it's time to give him the opportunity to prove himself. The frustration surrounding this situation is no longer just about a single game. It's about the long-term direction of the team. Flacco's limitations are clear, and it's becoming more apparent that he cannot keep up with the pace of the game. Fans are losing patience, and Stefanski's reluctance to make a change is only intensifying the pressure. At this point, Stefanski will have no choice but to bow to the mounting demand for Shedeur Sanders. The situation has escalated beyond what anyone could have predicted, and continuing to stick with Flacco could not only harm the Browns' chances this season, but also damage Stefanski's standing with the fans. Shedeur's moment is fast approaching, and if Stefanski doesn't act soon, he may lose the chance to make the change that could turn the team's fortunes around. What do you all think about the situation with Shedeur Sanders and Coach Stefanski? Do you believe it's time for Stefanski to make the change and give Shedeur a chance to start? How long do you think the Browns can afford to stick with Flacco before it becomes a bigger issue? Do you agree with the analysts and fans calling for a change? Or do you think Flacco deserves more time to turn things around? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let us know what you think is the best move for the Browns moving forward.